Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
The triumphant return of Jonathan Voico.
Hey.
He's alive.
Harris Rose is here.
Hello.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. And here's how the show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of predetermined topics that we got lined up. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a comment or question for the show, you'd like for us to address it, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, go ahead and use our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And by the way, the great thing about this tip link is you can use it 24 hours a day. If you're watching this show a little bit later in the day and you can't get in a question live, that's totally okay. Just send one in now and we'll get around to it on the next episode. Also, I want to let you guys know about a couple things. First of all, the newest issue of the newsletter has gone out. You can take a look at it here. One of the things we do with the newsletter that we now do, and it's free for the remaining of this week, and then it'll be free once a week. One issue a week will be free, but then the rest will be paid for paid subscription. But is I do a little bit of an editorial at first. We get some announcements about the channel, but then here's the key thing. Every morning I do hours of combing through all the various news feeds, coming up with stories for the show, but there's a bunch of other really cool or interesting things going on in the world of movie news. And I want to make sure you guys know what they are, but instead of you having to comb for hours through this stuff, I take these 5 stories, let you know what they are, I break them down individually so you can know what they are in point form really quick, also give you a little bit of an editorial thought, and I do that for a handful of stories. Then, of course, we just give you a little bit of a reminder in case you can't keep up with the channel every day about all the various video segments that we did on the previous day's show. Go and see the newsletter now. Subscribe to it. You can just get a free subscription if you want and check it out. Also, want to let you guys know that, of course, I think tomorrow, Dogshit 23, D23, Disney's absolutely, completely useless convention of utter emptiness and nonsense is going on, and absolutely none of you should go to it. But one of the things that they do, that they could just do by putting out a press release, they do have a really big major presentation coming on Friday night. It is the Disney Entertainment presentation on Friday. And it will have Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and a few other Disney entertainment brands. It's a 2-hour presentation that they're doing. And just like what Ray and I did for the Marvel Hall H presentation, covering it live and doing a live reaction, we're going to do that as well this Friday night. And we hope that you will be here to join us for that, because we're expecting to hear a lot again coming out of Marvel. Obviously, very interested to hear what things Star Wars will announce that they'll then cancel in 3 months, and to see what else is coming from the awesome Pixar studios, Disney Animation, things like that. So we hope that you guys will come and join us for that, because you certainly don't need to buy a ticket to Disney 23 for it. Anyway, with that all said, guys, let's get on to some main stuff here, shall we? Paris, what do we got up first?
Yeah, well, running a streaming business is a hard and expensive undertaking. This is why we're always hearing about how much money all the streaming businesses are losing. Well, for the first time ever, Disney has reported their streaming business is now profitable, with revenue jumping 15% this spring. So, John, how big of a deal is it that Disney's streaming business is now making them money?
It's huge. Let's Disney Plus, because remember, we're talking about their overall streaming strategy, right? This includes Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, things like that. Disney launched Disney Plus, I believe it was 2019. So we're about 5 years for them to get to the point of profitability. Now, that might sound like a long time, but it took Netflix from when it started its streaming arm, I think it was in 2007. It took them almost 14 years to report their first profits in 2021. Like 14 years. People drastically underestimate just how big of an operation and just how expensive running these streaming services are. And it takes a long time to get profitable, and a lot of times they don't get profitable. But Disney is now reporting they're making profit on their streaming. This comes to us from IndieWire, who said the following. In the first quarter of 2024, the Walt Disney Company's fiscal Q2, Disney's direct-to-consumer business, nearly broke even for the first time since Disney Plus was born. But from April to June, streaming profitability was finally reached, 1 quarter earlier than CEO Bob Iger himself had promised. Disney Plus added 700,000 subscribers during the second calendar quarter of the year, Disney's fiscal third quarter, according to financial documents raised on Wednesday. It had raised 6.3 million subs in the second quarter. Disney Plus now has 118.3 million subscribers, not counting India. Here's an interesting little note. Whereas Disney Plus added 700,000 subscribers, Hulu added 900,000 subscribers in the quarter and is now at 51.1 million subscribers. Disney Plus Hotstar, which is basically Disney Plus in India, lost 500,000 subscribers, and now it's 35.5 million over there. I have no idea how they do the things over there or why that lost that. Bottom line, I think this is attributed to a couple of things. Bundles getting more apparent, the ad-supported fee or the ad-supported tier being added in for a lower cost. Their ad-supported tier is now almost twice the price of what their ad-free tier used to be when they launched the service. So, cheaper. Yay. Okay, so this, of course, comes on the heels of the news that we talked about yesterday, that Disney just announced that they're raising their prices again on their ad-supported, on their ad-free. So they're saying we got to raise our prices again. Okay, they're raising their prices very next day. Oh, by the way, we're profitable now. Okay, if you're profitable now, maybe you want to wait a year before announcing more price increases, like maybe not increase your prices like twice a year. No. Still time for us to raise our prices. I mean, look, we won't relitigate that whole discussion that we had yesterday. Bottom line is, it is pretty impressive that they have gotten this to the profitability point so much quicker than, say, Netflix did. Now, of course, they have a lot of built-in advantages that Netflix never had, like a universe of huge IP and library in their archives right from the starting point. Absolutely, they have a huge starting position, way in the lead, yes. But still, originally they thought 5 to 7 years, and 5 was being optimistic, but 5 is where we are, and they got there. Now, can they maintain that? Are there constant price increases going to eventually start turning people off? Will the new bundling they're doing with Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max, I think a lot of people, I know I'm signing up for that. I'm going to cancel all my other subscriptions and just sign up for that. So maybe that's going to help. Who knows? We'll see. Guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Disney streaming is now officially profitable. It is now an arm of the business that is not costing them money. It's actually making them money. And we can complain and gripe about various things, true, but they've gotten this thing to a pretty good point faster than they thought they would. Big deal, not big deal. Can they maintain it? Are they going to lose it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, but kind of sticking on the topic of Disney a little bit, let's move on to our next issue here, shall we? Paris, what do we got up next?
Okay, well, many of you will remember that last year, Disney agreed to purchase the remaining 33% Hulu ownership that Comcast still held. However, the two sides have never been able to agree on how much Comcast's one-third ownership was worth. Disney put down $8.61 billion. Billion, but now may have to give Comcast another $5 billion. So, John, break down why Disney may still owe more for something they already bought.
Okay, so this is a little convoluted, the way that, so you guys remember, Hulu used to be this, it was the Village Bicycle. Everybody had a ride. Like, everybody owned Hulu together, right? It was like Fox and Disney and Comcast, Universal. They all owned it. Well, then Disney bought Fox. And all of a sudden, Disney was the majority shareholder, they were the de facto owner now of Hulu, although Comcast Universal still technically owned 33%. They still owned 1/3. And they had it in their contract that at some point in time, which was in 2023, they could trigger a sale where either Disney had to sell their shares to Comcast or Comcast was going to sell their shares to Disney. Comcast opted to share their shares to Disney. But then, how much is it worth? How much is Hulu worth? Because if I'm going to give you 1/3 of Hulu, because I own, if I'm NBC Universal Comcast, I own 1/3 of Hulu. Well, we got to figure out what Hulu is worth so I can know what my 1/3 is worth. So they couldn't really decide how much they thought Hulu was worth. So they made an agreement. Tell you what, let's just come up with a number and then we'll execute the deal. But we agree to evaluate the cost. We'll study and evaluate what the worth of 1/3 of Hulu is. And then later we will adjust how much we pay you. Okay. So this comes to us from Variety. They wrote it like this. Last year, Disney accelerated negotiations to buy Comcast/NBC Universal's stake in Hulu to take full ownership of the streaming service. Now, in December, Disney paid $8.61 billion to Comcast, which represented 1/3 of what they for temporarily decided to value Hulu at, $27.5 billion guaranteed floor value for Hulu that was set when the companies entered into their agreement in 2019. All right. So they said, just so we can get the deal done, let's agree that the baseline value of Hulu is $27.5 billion. Cool. 1/3 of $27.5 billion is $8.61 billion. Here's $8.61 billion. We now all of Comcast or all of Hulu. Great. But we have agreed that we will assess what the true value of Hulu is, and then we'll adjust the payment. Here's the problem. Disney hired their own third-party assessors, and Comcast hired their own third party of assessors. Quelle surprise, the Disney's assessors valued Hulu a lot lower than what Comcast's assessors valued it. They didn't publicly tell us the numbers, but they were way far apart. Their agreement said if Disney's assessors and Comcast assessors came within 10% of each other, then they would just split the difference. But if they don't come within 10% of each other, which apparently they are way apart, then the bank will assign a third-party assessor to come in. And here's how it's going to work. It's kind of really weird. So, Disney, Comcast, and now the bank. They all now have their own assessors in there, right? So just going to make up some numbers here because they didn't publicly give us the numbers. So we're just going to make up a couple of numbers here. So let's, for argument's sake, that Disney's assessors said the value is $27 billion. Well, that's more than the 27.5 they said. So that was a guaranteed floor. So Disney's going to say, we don't have to give you any more money. We already paid you 1/3. Okay, that's fine. Well, Comcast, their assessors say, I don't know, $45 billion. Well, clearly they're more than 10% apart. So now what's going to happen is this. The bank's assessors are going to come in and let's say for argument's sake, they say the thing is worth, I don't know, $40 billion. I'm not saying they will. This is all just for discussion, okay? The way the agreement works, and I said this is a little convoluted. The way the agreement works says once you take Disney's assessment, Comcast's assessments, and the bank's assessment of the value of Hulu, you're going to take the two numbers that are closest to each other and then split the difference on that. In this case, the bank's $40 billion is closer to Comcast's $45 billion. Therefore, they would split the difference and ultimately say final cost or final value. They're going to split the difference on that, the difference between 40 and 45 and say, okay, we're going to call the value $42.5 billion. Now, if the bank's assessment was closer to Disney's assessment, they'd split the difference between the bank and Disney's, but they're not. So we're now going to have to wait and see what the bank's assessors are going to come out and say. But the bottom line is this: Disney is going to have to pay more money. And it could be, says Disney, up to $5 billion more. Now that's adding like another 70% of value to Hulu. And here's the thing: that's Disney saying they could pay up to $5 billion more. Comcast may say, you might have to pay up to $10 billion more. We'll have to see. This is high level money, high level business. And we're just gonna have to wait to find out what the bank's assessor says and the arbitrator says. And then we'll get a final number. But the bottom line is Disney's gonna have to pay a lot more money to own Hulu than they originally bargained for. And whatever the number is, they are legally obligated to pay it. There's no walking out of the deal now. It's not like the arbitrator and the assessors can come in and say, well, you owe $9 million more. Disney can't go, oh, well, that's too expensive for us. Too late. Too late. They're going to have to pay whatever they say they're going to have to pay. And so this is going to be a pretty expensive endeavor for them. Anyway, I know this is kind of just breaking down money sometimes is pretty boring, but I find this kind of stuff really interesting. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you make of this? Apparently Disney cannot quite put their pocketbooks away. It's a good thing they're making money on streaming now, because they're going to have to pay for it through the nose. Whatever you guys make of this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our next item here, shall we? Paris, what do we got up next?
Okay, so it's been over 9 years since the Borderlands movie was officially announced by Lionsgate, and nearly 5 years since Eli Roth was signed on to direct it. And now, this weekend, we finally get the film in theaters. But it doesn't look like many of you have been waiting, because, according to reports, the film is currently targeting a $15 million opening.
Ouch.
Rough. So, John, how big of a flop is Borderlands shaping up to be?
Huge. Huge. Now, look, for those of you who watch the show regularly, indulge me for those who don't watch the show regularly. I love Eli Roth. I've got to sit down with him like 4 occasions or more. He's come into my studio before. Number one, I love him as a personality, and I don't love all of his movies, but I love his approach to his movies. He's got like this no holds barred, I'll try absolutely anything kind of approach to trying something new to filmmaking. And I really like his approach. I like him. I always cheer for him, right? Again, I don't love all of his movies, but I always cheer for him. I think the dude's great. Cate Blanchett is arguably in the top discussion of the top 3 greatest actresses of all time. A lot of people will put her just behind the Street Monster. Jamie Lee Curtis is an icon, and by the way, an Academy Award winner. And I get a big kick out of Kevin Hart. Doesn't always have the best movies, but I get a big kick out of Kevin Hart. Really like him. But I've said for a long time, since they started putting out the trailers to this thing, it just didn't look good to me. I want to love it. I want to be excited for it. But nothing about it has looked particularly interesting. It has looked like Walmart Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that's what it's felt like. And they even showed us a presentation at CinemaCon, and okay, they brought, Eli out and one of the stars out, and okay, you know what, their presentation there wasn't bad. But again, their trailers have not done anything to make me more excited. This movie cost $120 million. They announced this movie. This is like a Ray, if anything's going to give you hope for Blade, it should be Borderlands. They announced the Borderlands movie 9 years ago, and we still got it.
There was so much excitement when it was announced too.
Oh, especially huge excitement.
When Cate Blanchett was announced to be in.
Dude, when they said,
people are like, "Oh, she's in it," then
it's got to be good.
Yeah, she doesn't like accept a role like this.
She can do anything she wants.
It's going to be the Lord of the Rings of Borders.
It's good. Lord of the Rings of Borders. So, for me, so That happened, then it dragged and dragged and dragged. They lost. I think Wanell was supposed to direct at one point, and then 2020, like 5 years ago, Eli Roth comes on. Great, still nothing. And I think they finished shooting this movie early in 2023, and here we are now. Well, for a $120 million movie, generally speaking, the general area you're targeting, you're aiming for, if you're a movie coming out, is that your domestic opening weekend box office will equal 1/3 of your production budget. If your opening domestic box office can be around 1/3 your production budget, you might be on okay ground. You might be all right.
It felt like all the pieces were there. Eli Roth was like a great choice to direct a film like this. And then you know what, the Jack Black as Claptrap or whatever that robot's name is it the little
Yeah, the robot.
Yeah, it felt like this should at least be a decent film. With
Well,
the
I mean,
cast
again,
and the director.
you Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kate Blanchett, on and on. But you need about 1/3, right, for your opening weekend. That means to hopefully be okay, this movie needs to make about 40 million opening weekend. They're saying probably around 15. That's terrible. And you know what's not going to help? The first reactions. The first reactions to Borderlands are now out, and they're everything I feared they would be. Let's go over and check some of these out. Adriano Caparuso writes, Borderlands is a disaster, filled with every cliche you can ponder. This film swaps the mayhem and imagination of the games for a lifeless, unfunny, and visually repulsive dud with annoying characters and a cast with not 1 ounce of chemistry.
Wow, he loved it.
Yeah, huge. Can't wait to go back and see that again.
That last line was the worst thing I could hear.
Oh, Edgar Ortega writes, Borderlands feels like what an out-of-touch executive thinks the cool kids find appealing. There is not a single earnest character moment here. Just obnoxious quips that feel dated as soon as they leave the actors' mouths. It's not even so bad it's good. It's just a complete mess. Miles Lawrence writes, just finished watching Borderlands. Holy fuck, what an abomination of an adaptation.
Oh my.
But it's my monstrosity. So clearly somebody who's a big Borderlands fan saying that. Darren's Movie Reviews writes, Borderlands movie is a baffling video game adaptation. There is potential for great world building, but it never happens due to a rushed and dull screenplay. The set design is impressive, but the film looks cheap due to poor CGI. Matthew Simpson wrote, oh, hey, I can tell you I've seen the Borderlands movie now, and that it's really bad. I really wanted to like it, but an uninspired plot plus several phoned-in performances plus being stuck in a weird place where it looks both expensive and cheap at the same time make it a huge misfire. We'll end off here with Barry Hertz, who writes, Borderlands, the unironic feature-length equivalent of the Tar finale. I love Tar. In which Kate Blanchett comes to the horrifying realization that her career is now in the hands of nerds. But even nerds have better taste than Roth's abysmal, boring IP strip mining.
Wow.
I don't know that you could have written a worst case scenario for this. Now, remember, I'm giggling at these. I'm taking no joy in this. I'm a huge Eli Roth supporter. I wanted to love this movie. And Ray and I, we are going to go see Borderlands tomorrow.
The People's Champs.
The People's Champ.
Wow.
Man.
We're going to go see this tomorrow. And we'll let you know what we think. Hopefully, I'll be one of the few people that enjoy it.
Ray's going into Twisters.
I'm hoping
while
I
you're
can-
in there.
Right, yeah. He's going to say, I'm going to go refill my soda. And meanwhile, he slips in to see Twisters again.
Jonathan, give me some sickness again.
Give you some sickness. You don't want to give
You know
it to
what?
me.
You know what? The
some
only hope
sickness.
for this movie to get any money is this opening weekend. I mean, maybe there's like a fan base that will make get it more money than the projections.
About
I mean,
$15 million worth of fan base.
is there any chance it would have the Five Nights at Freddy's effect?
No.
Where the community, just even though the reviews weren't that great, the community and
No.
lovers of the game will come out and actually go see
No.
this? No.
No, because I think any chance there was of that died along the Oregon Trail 9-year journey from announcement to here. Right? Again, Eli Roth was announced like 5 years ago. We heard this was going into production like 4 years ago. I mean, it's just whatever hope there was of a swelling of support from the fan base of the games, I think died out along the way. I just think the pure inertia of this whole project had killed it. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people going, wait, didn't that movie come out in like 2022 or something? Like, it's just, I don't see now. The one chance it had was positive word of mouth. I don't see that happening now. And by the way, this is an interesting case study for all those people who say first reactions are always good. Well, apparently not. Yeah, I just don't know how this thing now with these reactions, the reviews are going to drop. I mean, if they can get 15 million opening weekend, I think they should count their blessings.
Should this have been something they should have shopped around to the streaming service instead? Do you think? I mean, it feels
But then they
like-
would have lost more money.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
I mean, listen, here's the reality though. No matter how bad it does in theaters, they're going to make more money than if they just put it
Right.
straight to streaming,
Right.
right? That's part of the reality of the streaming world. But the only question is, does it make more money than they put into the marketing budget? And I think they put about 20 million into marketing this movie, which isn't a lot by big $100+ million movie standards. But I think they're going to easily recoup their marketing budget, which then means every dollar of that afterwards means they're losing less money by putting it in theaters than if they had just dumped it on streaming.
And it's projected at what, 15 million?
That's what they're
I'm
projecting
gonna,
for
you know
opening
what?
weekend.
I'm gonna be a giving man. I'm gonna say it's gonna at least make 20 million.
I'm thinking the one thing it has going for it is momentum coming off of everyone's good experience in the theater for Deadpool.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
And so I think it could garner like 20 mil. But
Yeah.
I think
Thinking a
20
little-
is I think 20 is the ceiling.
Yeah.
20 is the ceiling. But you're right. If they can ride on the momentum of, man, the last couple of times we went to the movies, we saw Inside Out and it was great. And then we went to go see this Deadpool movie and it was great. And now there's this new big budget film. Let's go check it out.
The opposite effect, because you're like, oh, I had a great time at Deadpool, had a great time at Inside Out too, and then I've been seeing all these bad reviews. I don't want to ruin it. That's
But
how I would
most
do.
average moviegoers are never going to read these first
they don't look
reactions.
at the reviews.
Yeah, I have a strange feeling there's a good chance I might like this film.
I think so too, Ray.
I mean, like Garfield, that had the horrible reviews, but I ended up, I
I hope you do.
I hope I do too. I hope I have a fun. I don't
you
even
will.
know how long this movie is. Let's see. Let me check it out. But
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
hour
that's
40.
that. Okay, that's the big meter stick
I'm
for the
guessing
Ray
an hour
Aura
40.
evaluations.
I
Is
can
how
only
long
take
is
so
the
much
movie?
bad.
Might
No,
take so much
Ray
bad.
can only take so much. Period.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you got it.
40?
It is one. Where is it?
Hour 42. I said an
Hour
hour 40. So
42.
it was 2
Hour
minutes off.
42.
That's not a bad time.
bad.
That's not a bad time.
Get in, get out.
Yeah.
Hopefully have a good time.
Don't make us walk out like Expendables did.
Oh my God.
Don't be that bad, at least.
Yeah, just don't be that bad. Make it something we can at least laugh at. At any rate, guys, the box office projections for Borderlands are not good. The first reactions for Borderlands are abysmal. And I'm still going to go see it tomorrow. Are you? Are you guys going to go like, screw it, let's go check it out and see what Eli Roth has for us? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I can't anymore. Guys, whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're now going to move on and start taking some live questions from you guys. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second to thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Manscaped and Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode, Manscaped. Sizzle alert, this summer, let the only thing that's smoking at your barbecue be the grill, not your grooming game. Get ready for the ultimate cookout season with Manscaped. Whether you're flipping burgers or cannonballing into the pool, make sure your meat looks neat with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Head to manscaped.com and use the code Campea for 20% off and free shipping. Now, come on, guys, if you're like me, you used to do your grooming the old barbaric way. You know, using the clippers on your electric shaver? It never did a good job and always left me screaming out several profanities. So like me, you know that you need the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is perfect for achieving that crisp, clean, and confident look for your barbecues and beach days. The Weed Whacker 2.0, guys, keep your ears and nose as tidy as your hedges next door with our Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. And you get Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion, Crop Preserver, Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, and Boxers 2.0, the ultimate supplement to those hot summer days, equipped with the signature jewel pouch to protect your meatballs wherever the heat takes you. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use that code Campea. Manscaped, the perfect way to get your patties sizzling hot this summer. You know when you discover a new binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome it is? That's kind of what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's such an awesome deal, there is no way you can keep it to yourself. My last mobile service provider was quite good, but ever since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've enjoyed even better coverage, better phone clarity, and I'm paying less than a third of what I paid to my old provider. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions may apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And thank you to our friends at Manscaped and Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's episode. All right, let's get on to your live questions now, shall we here? Paris, what do we got up first?
Starting with Sam there.
All right. Sam Fisher says, if they did Ocean's 14, I would love for them to mix the cast. Clooney, Pitt, Damon, but also Bullock, Blanchett, and Hathaway. Maybe someone hires both crews so the siblings are competing. Or maybe they're on the same team, but they are constantly arguing.
Yeah, of course, the other day, Matt Damon mentioned that, hey, it's still possible another Ocean's movie could be made, which I would love. And listen, I liked the Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway Oceans. I mean, I didn't like it as much as Ocean's 11, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And you know what? Mixing the casts, sign me up. I'd be all for it too. All right, what's next?
Murray Reich says, saw Trap and it was okay. Since me and you are not casual moviegoers, the film will make you go ask yourself throughout, scratching your head. Characters making illogical, poor decisions. Suspension of disbelief is on an all-time high. Overall, okay, but second half derails.
Yeah, again, Ann and I had our tickets for Thursday to go see Trap, and I got, my ass kicked. I got ill. I got really, really sick. So still haven't had a chance to go see it. I'm hearing not great things about it. I know it scored about a 50% critic rating the last I heard. So I'm still going to see it. Ann and I decided to go to the movies last night. We said, should we see Trap or should we see Deadpool again? We're like, let's go see Deadpool again. And so we went for our 5th time to go see Deadpool. But one of these days, I will finally see Trap. All right, what's next?
Raymond Barada says, sad to read on THR, Daisy Ridley revealed that she has Graves' disease, an autoimmune disease that makes you tired but wired. It affects the thyroid gland. She's already taking medication and treatment. I wish her the best in managing this disease. Yeah,
we actually, for those of you who subscribe to the newsletter, we actually put that in our other stories on yesterday's newsletter. It was really sad. look, it's not something that's going to end her career or anything like that, but it's something that you, from everything I've read, because I have no firsthand experience of this, something that you can deal with, but you got to deal with. And I was really sad to hear about that. All right, what's next?
All right. Carlos S says, "Hey John, I saw the season 4 of House of the Dragon will be the final season. I was hoping for a long run of the show because I was loving it. But if the narrative serves for only 4 seasons, I guess you can't force it. What are your thoughts? Have a great day."
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday on the show. I'm completely with you, like in the sense that I love this show. So I wanted to go for 9 seasons, but you can feel that it's now literally we're at the halfway point, and you can feel that it's turned the corner, right? The show's turned the corner. We're at the halfway mark. It feels like we're at the halfway mark of the story because they've got other stories to tell. They've got this Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, the Hedge Knight.
The Hedge Knight Game of Thrones show is coming out, and that takes place in between the events of House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones.
Right.
So they're going to have other stories to tell. This one is coming down to its conclusion, and I would rather them just tell the story rather than tell the story and then keep going for no reason, right? They have several Game of Thrones shows they want to do, so I think it's the right move. It's the right move for 4 seasons. All right, what's next?
All right. Monkey Tongue says, "So with the huge success of Deadpool and Wolverine, what does this mean going forward for the MCU in terms of rated R films and the more violent characters like Punisher, or what's going on with Blade? What does this mean for Disney as a whole being their first R-rated film ever?"
Honestly, I don't think much. Because it worked. You know, Ryan Reynolds said something really interesting about the film. He said it's the industry's first ever R-rated 4-quadrant movie. And he is right. Punisher would not be a rated R 4-quadrant movie. You know what I mean? The pure entertainment of Deadpool and the humor of Deadpool and all that kind of stuff make it, I would use the word palatable for Disney, but something that's just pure dark. I don't know. Because Punisher ain't going to elicit 7 laughs a minute like Deadpool is. Blade, there's definitely room there for humor in Blade. There absolutely is, but not Deadpool kind of humor. But then again, from what we understand, Kevin Feige did accede that he's looking to make Blade rated R. But ultimately, I think they're going to look at Deadpool and Wolverine as an outlier, right? Because you can say Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. Sure. But then they can come back and say, yeah, but our PG-13 stuff made $2 billion. So you can see how it goes? The argument is double-sided. You can say, look, you did this hardcore R-rated one and it made $1 billion. And they're going to go, okay, that's cute. We made 20 that made $1 billion. And they all made more than this one, and those were all PG-13. That means we should keep it PG-13. So I don't know what this one movie is going to mean for the long-term effects. We'll have to wait and see. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, "Have you ever been the only one in a mostly full theater to react loudly at a movie? Laugh, scream, or cheer?" I bring this up because when talking about Cap picking up
Mjolnir.
Meow,
Meow.
yesterday reminded me when I was the only one who cheered in that room 5 years ago.
Dang, bro.
I very, very rarely has that happened to me. But very, very rarely does it not happen when I'm sitting with Rayora. like whether it doesn't even have to be picking up Mjolnir. It could be like something and Ray would be like, here we go. like the one guy in the theater.
You know what? Yeah, I do that.
All right, here we go.
I made Moonfall sound like the biggest comedy of the year because I was sitting next to Rob and I was just laughing my ass off the whole time.
By the way,
even in the horror film that I think we just watched, I was laughing. Well, I forgot which one it was. It was like, it was so tense that I was
nervous
just
laughter.
No, I was just laughing because I thought it was funny. Like,
which
one was it? Or was it a horror film or was it Meg or
Was it A
something like
Quiet
that?
Place?
Well, Meg
Meg
was like
2?
a year ago.
Oh yeah, Meg 2 was the one where I was just laughing at people getting,
I got to tell you this story though. Don't know why this came to mind. So There's a line in Deadpool and Wolverine of Gambit going, I'm about to make a name for myself, right? About to make a name for myself. My wife, Anne, has been walking around the house now for almost 24 hours and attaches that phrase now to almost everything she's going to do. She's going to go make herself a sandwich. About to make a name for myself, she'll say. She's going to say, like, I'm going to give the dogs a bath. About to make a name for myself. And then this morning, this is a little bit too TMI, but I said, are you out of the bathroom? I need to use it. And she goes, okay. And I start to walk around the bathroom and she goes, about to make a name for yourself. And I'm like, my wife. All right. Sorry. What's next?
LC Williams Jr. says, hey, John and crew, I'm in conflict with myself. Every bit of the Trekkie in me should hate Lower Decks, but damn it, I love the show and hate that it's ending, but at least it's going out on its own terms. Have a great day.
You know, I really liked, which Star Trek show was it? I think it was Strange New Worlds that did an episode where they took the actual voice actors from Lower Decks and brought them into live action in the show. And that made me go, you know what? I'm going to give that Lower Deck show a shot. Because I thought it looked stupid and had no interest in it. I watched a couple of episodes. I have no interest in watching anymore. I mean, listen, for those who enjoy it, awesome. I celebrate that. I'm jealous. I wish I liked it too. But it did not work for me. I was hoping that it would, but I really didn't like it. But awesome that you did, my friend. All right, what's next?
Ty Talks TV says, John, you remind me of Simon Cowell or
no.
Gordon Ramsay.
What?
Good at your job, but God help anyone who mentions what a spoiler is or his thoughts on movie start times.
Oh yeah, don't ever get me going on movie start time. You know, it's funny. It's like clockwork. 2 times a year, because of the television rotation, I get tons of messages from people going, is that you on Kitchen Nightmares? Like 2 times a year because of the cycle of they go through the season and the show. It's like, yeah. So I got to meet Gordon Ramsay because a friend of mine had actually worked with Gordon and got us on an episode of, or in the restaurant for the big reveal at one of Gordon Ramsay's restaurants here in LA. So I got to meet Gordon beforehand, which was really fun and good. And the food was fabulous and great. But sure enough, yeah, every twice a year, I'll get these messages with screenshots saying, is that you on Kitchen Nightmares? Twice a year, every year without fail. All right, what's next?
All right. Dr. Stinky says, what if the opening scene of Doomsday is Dr. Doom destroying the TVA in Loki? This could cause every timeline to slowly get destroyed, and the void is a battle world, and our heroes have to find a way to reverse it. I don't know, just a thought. All love, bring on the filth.
The TVA for a movie that is the nature of Deadpool and Wolverine was a perfect mechanism for them to use in that movie. I don't see them using the TVA in Avengers Doomsday. So I don't think they're going to go to Doomsday. They're definitely not going to kill Loki again. They've killed Loki so many times now, they just can't do it again. I'm not saying they can't do it again and bring him back again. I'm saying they just can't do it again. Because killing Loki literally means nothing in the MCU. He's died like 4 times. The last time even had Thanos going, no resurrections this time, until Loki season 1 came along. So yeah, I don't see them using the TVA as a mechanism at all. So, and I don't see them bringing Loki into it. Although it is the Avengers movie, so maybe Loki is a part of it. But I certainly don't think they started off by having, because as we did in Infinity War, you start off Infinity War with the big bad killing Loki. You're not going to do the exact same thing in the next round of Avengers movies. All right, what's next?
Logan Vaughn says, just watched Longlegs and had a great time with it. One of the best psychological thrillers I've seen in a bit. Micah Monroe and Nick Cage are both absolutely incredible. This villain is genuinely unsettling. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to, because I heard some really great things about it. And where did Longlegs end up on Rotten Tomatoes? Because actually, I came out going, I mean, I didn't hate it. Nicolas Cage is absolutely bonkers intense in this movie. Like, his co-star even talked about how she was terrified of him on set. because Cage decided to go kind of method with it, and his performance is great.
It
But
ended up at 86% critic and then 60% audience.
yeah, I was surprised to see that the audience. I was surprised to see that the audience score was lower, but right around where I thought. Like, so it was really interesting. I'd say it was a decent movie, but it wasn't great for me. And it's, of course, the supernatural elements of it and stuff like that. Anyway, so overall, great performance. Don't think I'll ever watch the movie again myself.
Wow.
All right. What's next?
Dark Knight says, thinking about how funny all the jokes about Gambit never happening had me thinking, what if instead of Wesley showing up, it was Mahershala Ali, and the jokes about how long it is taking for him to appear. So Disney just sent him to the trash heap.
Huh. Nah.
Because then you'd have finality on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's really thinking about that.
If it's if the Blade movie ever comes out and it's a terrible movie, then they might do a joke on that.
And I mean, they did a joke where he's like, "There's not another one of me."
Yeah.
And then Deadpool's like,
There's only one blade.
"Yeah."
There will only ever be one blade. Like that was the joke. Of course, the joke is made perfect by the camera, the smash cut then to Deadpool's face turning and
Staring.
looking at the
No,
camera
it felt like he was looking
awkwardly.
at me.
He's looking right into Ray's
I
soul.
felt that was a little
But
jab
yeah.
at me.
All right. About to make a name for myself. All right. What's next?
About to make my blade for
Dylan
myself.
Greg says, hi, John and team. I'm really excited for Superman next year. What do you think of the possibility that the classic John Williams theme could be used? Keep up the great work.
Used as the theme? 0. Used as in dropped into the movie somewhere, kind of like an audible Easter egg? Sure. Zack Snyder did that too with his Superman. That we got a little bit of that
did
in
it with
Justice
Batman
League.
too.
What's that? Oh yeah, a little bit of the
Tim Burton, right?
Tim- yeah.
Danny Elfman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was definitely there too. So I can totally see that, but that being the theme, no, this is a brand new Superman, a brand new cinematic universe. This is a totally brand new cinematic universe. It's going to need its own. And hopefully they can get something that can join the likes of the incredible John Williams score, the incredible Hans Zimmer score that was there for Man of Steel. But they'll have their own score. All right, what's next?
Benji the Husky says, I miss the days when the networks would release their shows yearly. Game of Thrones, 1 through 7, 24, etc. I'm getting old. Will the networks ever go back to a yearly cadence? For example, shouldn't House of the Dragon Season 3 production be underway if they already knew about Season 3 and 4?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to go on my whole diatribe about this again. But yes, even in the early days of streaming, like remember Boardwalk, right? By the way, Boardwalk is an awesome show if you haven't checked it out. But they had a new season every year. I mean, when the streaming thing first got started, it was the like, oh my God, what's with this bullshit of like 10 episode seasons? But whatever. But we were still getting one season a year. The early years of Game of Thrones was Game of Thrones, one season a year. But now, not only do we have 1/3 of the episode count in our shows, now we're having to wait 2, sometimes 3 years in between these shows getting back.
If you watch Euphoria, forget about it. That is...
Oh, yeah, how long? When was the last season of Euphoria?
It was this year, but then the next one is going to be in like 3 years.
Oh, was Euphoria? No, Euphoria wasn't out in
Or-
2024.
2023.
Okay, 2023.
2023.
But it's still years away.
Yeah.
So they started by just having 1/3 of the episode counts. Fine. Then it started getting, now it's 1/3 of the episode counts, and you got to wait a couple of years. Listen, why aren't they in production of this show already? Why are they not in production of season 3? They wrapped production on this season ages ago. Ages ago, they finished production on season 2. Why are they not already in production on season 3? They have got to figure out a way to stream. Now, the one big hook is, of course, it would require streamers to make multiple season commitments. And streamers don't like to make multiple season commitments. So that by the time they do greenlight the next season, before planning when they're going to shoot it, they got to work around everybody's schedules now. It's like, hey, you should have signed me up for 3 years when you had me. But You didn't commit to season 2, so I made other plans.
I mean, like when it comes out, eventually comes out, if it's a great season, all of this is not going to matter. The same thing with with Severance coming out at 3 years, the second season. If this season is trash, oh my God, it's just going to be. Then you're going to look at all the time that they took to actually make it, and all that stuff is going to.
By the way, Euphoria, the last season of Euphoria was 2022, early 2022.
Yeah, because I just watched it last year, so it seemed fresh to me. But yeah,
So it's been 2.5 years since
and
season
we
2
still
ended.
got 2 more years or something that we're waiting.
All right, what's next?
All right, Benji the Husky says, House of the Dragon finale felt like a perfect episode 8 in a 10-episode season. The post-credits teaser they showed after episode 7 hyped it a little too much, leaving viewers underwhelmed. If we knew season 3 was coming in 12 months, it would have been more forgiving.
First of all, I'm going to say leaving viewers underwhelmed. Speak for yourself. I am a viewer. I was not underwhelmed. I know a lot of people who were not underwhelmed. Also, I mentioned this the other day. If you know Game of Thrones shows, this includes last year. Almost every season has the penultimate episode, the second to last episode, has the big major events. And then the final episode, the season's final episodes, usually then are setting the table for the next season to come. That's the pattern. That's what they've always done. And this one was no different. And I thought it set the table perfectly going into next year. So for a season finale of a Game of Thrones universe show, I thought it was bang on the money. But you're also absolutely right when you say, if we knew we just had a year to wait to the next one, that builds the excitement. It builds it up. Do you know what the season finale viewership was of House of the Dragon? And remember, shows lose their minds when they get 2.5 million viewers or something like that. Like the old Arrowverse shows like Flash, they used to get 700,000 viewers. House of the Dragon had 9 million viewers on its season finale. 9 million. And now you're going to make everybody wait for a couple of years. They got to figure this out.
The only thing I hate about the season is they kept Damon in that penalty box, and when he finally got out, then the season ended.
Yeah, but you know what? I was complaining about the Harrenhal stuff all year, but I take it back because I thought that payoff, that scene with Rhaenyra at the end, for me, it made it all worth it. Even though I hated it while we were going through it, that scene, the payoff for it to me made it completely worth it. All right, what's next?
All right, your name says, in Loki and Deadpool and Wolverine, is the TVA an evil organization similar to Hydra or terrible in hiring?
Neither. Remember, the people of the TVA have been there for a long time. And Paradox is a guy looking after one of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of universes and realities. And yeah, so no, TVA is not an evil organization. The intent and the purpose of the TVA is good, but like in any organization, things can go sideways. All right, what's next?
All right, Dennis the Phantom Menace. Thank you for your support, Dennis.
Oh wow, $38 tip. Thank you, man.
Dennis wanted to say to John, you and your crew are like friends I never knew I had. Thank you for being a friend. John, you're like the uncle I never knew I had. P.S. That was me who sent a $35 tip yesterday as anonymous. Forgot to put my nickname with a comment.
So you had to follow it up with a $38 one. Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the kind. It's always nice when somebody wants to write and just to say something encouraging. We appreciate that very much. Thank you for being here. And again, thank you for supporting us on that level, man. All right, what's next?
All right, and Dennis the Phantom Menace says, now question. I'm excited for James Gunn's new DCU. Do you think he'll tackle the Justice Society in his DCU slate? Since James Gunn is good with superhero teams like Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and Creature Commandos, why not do a Justice Society?
Because if you understand it, you don't really run Justice Society and Justice League at the same time. And Justice League is what they're going to be aiming for and building up towards. So no, I really don't see them doing Justice Society at all. Other little sub teams like, Teen Titans or stuff like that, sure. But I don't think you run Justice Society and Justice League at the same time. But that's just my guess.
But if someone were to do it, it would probably be James Gunn who would do it, right? Under his umbrella. Like,
yeah, if
Justice
anybody, because listen, James Gunn, to your point, he loves the obscure, the stuff other people don't know about that he grew up reading about. He's totally into that. But
That's what I'm waiting for.
there's a difference between being a filmmaker of an individual film and being the shepherd of an entire cinematic universe. So while I still expect some James Gunn wonkiness, we're getting Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie. Who the hell asked for Mr. Terrific?
Who is that?
Who asked for Polka Dot Man in his Suicide Squad? Who asked for King Shark? But he does them, and he brings love to them and all that kind of stuff. So you never know. I just don't think he will, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
All right. Anonymous says, "Hey John and crew, do you think Wakanda and oh my god, I cannot pronounce it.
Talocan.
Talocan will have a presence in Cap 4. We know from SDCC that Tiamat's body is the new element adamantium. Or do you think both nations are cool with vibranium while the other nations fight for this new metal?"
No, Wakanda. I mean, Wakanda might get a mention. This is not Captain America and Namor. This is not Captain America and what? No, I don't think they will.
No more.
That's how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
Namor.
This-
I still say Namor, but they
Yeah.
call it Namor.
Namor. Hello, I'm Namor.
So, God, can I just complain one more time?
No. Okay, fine.
Namor is fighting her on a beach, and he's getting dehydrated, and there's literally an ocean 50 feet this way.
Spoilers.
And and he's got her down. He can easily just dip his toe in the water. Look at that. I'm full strength. Come back. Instead, he doesn't. I just don't understand that creative decision. Okay, side rabbit hole done. Let's keep going. What's next?
All right. So Cody Hunt Film says, "So if Cassandra Nova had Doctor Strange's sling ring the whole time in the void, why would she have stayed down there? She had the multiverse at her fingertips."
They fully explain that in the movie twice. Cassandra Nova, actually 3 times they explain in the movie. First of all, Paradox says while talking to Pyro, she's chosen to stay down there, right? He said, thank God Cassandra's chosen to stay down there. Number 2, when we first meet Cassandra, she says the void to her is a paradise. She loves it there. She loves the arrangement that she has for being in the void and being the ruler of the void, and she gets to be whoever she wants to be. Then 3, later, when she comes out and she head fucks, what's his name,
Oh my
Paradox,
God,
with the
I thought you were
fingers.
gonna say something.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. I just heard finger and I was like, what
Oh.
are you about to say? But yeah,
But like
did.
she explains again, I was perfectly happy with our arrangement, and then you pissed on my side of the fence. And now the fence must come down. So like she was perfectly happy. And the whole idea of a time ripper to leave nothing but the void was something she didn't really even know was a possibility until, again, she head screwed Paradox and found that out. So yeah, they were very, very explicit in the movie about that. All right, what's next?
All right. I Am the X-Man says, "What if Disney Plus gave us an option to watch their shows in a movie format rather than episodic after the entire show has released? It would save us time instead of having to watch credits or recaps every time. It would make them much more watchable, in my opinion."
Isn't that just
Binging?
binging?
Yeah, I was like, that's binging.
I mean, you know how it works, right? You get to the end of an episode and it says, the little box appears, says, go to next episode. Boom, you're skipping the credits. Maybe you didn't explain it right, but it sounds to me like
I
you
guess
perfectly described binging.
And they want to be able to skip like the ad previously on and the movie title. But
But
you
the
can
little
hit
button
skip,
pops up there
Yeah.
every time to do
Yeah.
that.
They just don't want that to be a thing at all?
just have it all.
Like an 8-9 hour movie?
Yeah, like every time, like for instance, when I'm watching Mayor of Kingstown and it says previously on Mayor, it gives me the option, skip, just hit the skip button. And then it goes right into it. And if an opening credits start, it says skip, just hit the skip credits. And away you go. So yes, what you are describing is binging. It's already there.
I guess they could illegally rip it and then just edit it themselves.
Yeah,
the
you
way
could do
they
it yourself
want.
if you wanted to, but it's really just a 1-second thing every hour just to do that. Anyway. All right, what's next?
All right. Blake Wilson says, "Hey John, World of Real reported that Paramount destroyed the Interstellar 70 million prints,
Millimeter.
millimeter prints. Oh my God, millimeter prints, and they might have to cancel the re-release next month. How pissed do you think Nolan will be if it's true?"
You can make more 70 millimeter prints if you have them digitally scanned, which I'm completely assuming they would.
Yeah.
Like I can't see a reality in which you would have 70 millimeter prints and not have them digitally scanned and up-resed and ready to be re-physically created if you needed them to. So
I would actually be surprised if Nolan didn't own his own copies of the prints too.
oh, there's no way Nolan doesn't have copies.
Because I know Tarantino
No way
has-
Nolan doesn't have copies.
You know?
So, I mean, I would have to read the story. And I don't know. By the way, I'm not disparaging here. I'm saying I don't know how reliable that particular source is. So I'd have to read the story, but it seems to me like there would be about 8 different fail safes to protect that. So that's just my thought. All right, what's next?
Dark Horizon says, "Hey everyone, there's a little short YouTube fan film called Alien Monday. It's about 20 minutes anime takes on Alien. Y'all should check it out and share your thoughts. Oh, and took the guys 6 years to make it."
That's super impressive. I mean, we're not in the business here of watching and reviewing fan films on YouTube. Again, I encourage making fan films. I think everybody should go out and do them, but we're not in the business of doing that here, unfortunately. But it sounds like something I'd be interested in. I'd probably check out at some point. All right, what's next?
Sean says, "Hi John, co-directing my first short on Sunday, and it got me curious/worried about the future of filmmaking. Will there or has there ever been a no AI clause in a filmmaker contract? I can see directors like Chris Nolan signing up for that."
I mean, anybody can put anything into a contract that you want. But here's the thing. And filmmakers are going to have to adapt to this too. AI stuff are just tools. They're just new tools, like anything else. And you can use them really well, like any other tool, or you could use them badly, like any other tool. There are absolutely, like, Rob and I were having this conversation about like the actually really cool advantages of certain AI tools in the process of filmmaking. That would be very handy, very time freeing, very like a lot of that different stuff. But like, it reminds me a lot of the discussions when the filmmakers were being dragged kicking and screaming into the digital age, where films were no longer being shot with 3,000 running feet of film that you literally had to load into a camera cassette and run this super expensive film. It's a new technology, but it is at the end of the day just a tool, and it's going to be a part of filmmaking. It's going to be a part of the filmmaking process. It's just like any other tool. Will it be used well, and that or not? And that'll be up to the filmmakers. All right, what's next?
Scoutmaster Timmy says, "With it looking like Deadpool and Wolverine possibly being #1 for a third straight week. Sorry, Borderlands. Do you think Alien Romulus can take #1 next week or just be a component #2? Hope you're all feeling better."
You see, here's the thing, because I think Alien Romulus is going to open to something like 30.
That's gonna be rough then. It'll probably be numbered. Yeah.
I don't think.
Because I think Deadpool and Wolverine's shooing for 45 to 50 this weekend.
Yeah. So can Deadpool make like 40 million in its 4th weekend? I don't think so.
No.
So my guess, and you never know what'll happen. It's just a guess. My guess is Alien Romulus will be the #1 film at the box office that weekend. By the way, it might not be the #1 this weekend. It all depends on how much that Blake Lively movie is going to make. Because, I mean, it should be Deadpool and Wolverine, but you've got Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds out there right now promoting Blake Lively's new movie. And it's based on a fairly popular book. And you never know, maybe Blake Lively's movie's #1 at the box
it ends
office
with
this
us?
weekend. What's that? It ends with us. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Scoutmaster Timmy says, wait, no. Is it Sean?
Oh wait, there we go. Sorry.
Anonymous?
Yeah.
Anonymous says, "Hey John, I'm going to D23 on Friday."
Boo!
brave to say that.
Waste of money.
And it's my third time going. Sorry you had a bad experience. I mostly go to check out the booths and exclusive merch you can get. Last time I was there, I bought an exclusive 60th anniversary Spider-Man Citizen watch.
In all seriousness,
Yeah.
if there's something out there that you enjoy, then you go enjoy it. 100% go enjoy it. That being said, you will never catch me dead going to a D23 or any fucking Disney live event bullshit that they do. They fucking suck and they're awful and they rip you off and they're terrible. Fuck Disney. Anyway, but hey, if you enjoy it and you're going to have a good time, don't let me rain on your parade, man. You go have a blast and get the stuff you want to get. All right, what's next?
All right. Well, Mr. I says, woohoo. Mr. Cleveland Browns just unveiled the new domed Cleveland Brown Stadium
Oh,
they're going to
wow.
build. It looks beautiful. Might give SoFi Stadium a run for its
No, it
money.
won't. No, it won't.
As a sports fan, you should check out the reveal trailer.
I am actually fascinated by like construction. I worked in construction a lot when I was a kid, but construction and architecture and stuff like that. And actually, one of my things I'm most excited about right now is going, even though I'm not a big LA Clippers fan, I cannot wait to go to the new LA Clippers stadium. I've seen so many mini documentaries on it and all the technology and everything that's in it. I can't wait. SoFi is a Picasso. SoFi Stadium is a Picasso. I recently was at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Beautiful stadium as well. And I'm sure the Cleveland one is going to be great. There's no way it's going to be as good as the SoFi Stadium one. But I will definitely go look up videos on it because I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff.
I'm surprised how many open air stadiums there are that are new back east with all rain delays and weather delays. It's like, dude, you're back east. This isn't Southern California. Enclose that thing.
Yep. Close that thing up. I mean, they closed it up in Dallas.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
All right. David says, hey, John, forgive me if this is a dumb question, but I remember back when we were predicting D&W's opening weekend at box office, you mentioned that when talking about opening weekends, we always talk about domestic. I was just wondering why this was.
Because no two movies open in the same number of countries at the same time. One movie can open in the United States and 20 other territories. Another movie can open in the United States and open in 70 other territories. That's why talking about the world, look, when you're talking about the final box office numbers, we always talk about worldwide because it's now done. Its theatrical run. It's played in its entire global run. And when we talk about final box office numbers, it's always worldwide. But opening weekend, it is useless, pointless, and irrelevant to discuss. Oh, this thing made this much money worldwide opening weekend. It doesn't matter because it's not comparing apples to apples. You're talking about one movie opened in 16 territories, one movie opened in 95 territories. It's completely non-equatable. So that's why when we talk about opening weekend numbers, you compare apples to apples. The domestic opening weekend number. So that's why whenever you hear any real conversation about opening weekend, it's always about domestic, 100% of the time. All right, good question. What's next?
Anonymous says, do you think that D&W in its third weekend will have double or triple weekend boxes office compared to Borderlands?
Not triple. Because if Borderlands can make, well, actually, you know what? 45 million isn't out of the... Because, like I said, Ann and I went again last night.
It's pretty full.
A 6:15 p.m. on a Tuesday. It was packed.
Yeah.
Dang.
Now, granted, we were in the premium theater. We were in the Dolby Theater. But still, 6:15 weekday, and it was still packed. So triple might... Yeah, because if Borderlands makes 15... it's possible Deadpool and Wolverine can make $45 million in his third weekend. Mm-hmm. It's possible. All right, what's next?
All right, Riker Maneuver says, Lower Decks didn't hook me until later in season 1, and I don't regret at all continuing through. So fun. Season 4 had the funniest thing in all of Star Trek, the Mark Twain off, Boimler and Rutherford dressed up and talking like him on a holodeck riverboat.
Holodeck.
Holodeck.
Cool. I don't
Sounds
watch.
funny.
I have no point of reference. Like I said, I've seen like 1.5 episodes. Didn't work for me, but I'm glad it worked for you, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Star Trek definitely needs some wins. But by the way, and if any of you guys aren't watching Strange New Worlds, it's fucking awesome. I believe it is the second best Star Trek show ever. I think Next Generation is always going to be the gold standard. That's my favorite, but I think Strange New Worlds is probably the second best Star Trek show ever. Anyway, all right, what's next?
All right. CJ Rebirth says, happy 25 years this week to Brad Bird's The Iron Giant. You are who you choose to be. Superman.
Oh, the Iron Giant. Iron Giant is so good. I think it's Jennifer Aniston does the voice of the mom in that. That was like 25 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And Vin Diesel does the voice of the Iron Giant. I mean, between that and Groot, that dude's made a career out of himself just for going, Well, and Fast and
family.
Furious.
And every Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
So there you go.
family, Groot. But yeah, I love Vin Diesel. I kid. But yeah, I can't believe that's 25. But you know what? No, that's one of those movies that it's like, yeah, I remember being much younger when the Iron Giant was out. So that's a movie I totally see was 25 years ago. All right, what's next?
Marco Caravaggio says, Part 1 got a kick out in Deadpool 3 that not many
Or
mention.
part I got to kick out.
Part I got a kick out in Deadpool 3 that not many mention. After she has her hand in his head, they cut to a wide shot and he yells, "Where's the intimacy coordinator?"
Your fingers, I can taste your fingers and they taste like hate. And where the hell is the intimacy coordinator? There are you know what? Here's the funny thing. Every time I watch that movie, I'm picking up on things I didn't catch before. And I think I have decided what I think the funniest line in the movie is. And it's changed. For a little bit, it was when B-15 and Peter Poole are just staring at each other and there's this silence. And then Paradox goes, "What the fuck is happening?" That was huge. But I think I have landed on, for me, the funniest moment in the film is after he gets Nice Pool killed. He goes, he died doing what he loved. And Wolverine goes, he died from murder. That, and I think for Anne, it's another Wolverine line. I think Anne's favorite line is Wolverine back in the void when he says, "And then Johnny got himself a little case of the deads," which was also a very fun. But yeah, he died from murder is, I think, my favorite line in the movie. All right, what's next?
Joe Holland says, "Hey John and crew, how y'all doing today? Well, I just turned 52.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, I was looking back in time, and when I started watching you, John, was when my Seahawks demolished the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Did you watch that Super Bowl, John? You guys make my day every day. Thanks, and please bring on the filth."
I talked ad nauseum about that Super Bowl. By the way, this is I love the story. Some of you have heard it, some of you have not. But I loved the Seahawks because I really liked Coach Carroll. Don't get me wrong, I was cheering against them when they were playing the Patriots. How was that Super Bowl? But I love the Seahawks and the Legion of Boom, man, back in the Legion of Boom time. And I remember I was doing one of my episodes of the show. And at the end of the show, I said, "Go Legion of Boom," is what I said at the end. Later that day, I got an email from Coach Carroll, not Pete Carroll, but his son, who was one of the offensive coordinators. I got an email from Pete Carroll's son, one of the coaches of the Seattle Seahawks, actually wrote to me and is like, "Thank you so much for the shout. I didn't know you were a fan of the team," and blah, blah, blah. And I wrote back and forth with him a little bit. He goes, "Hey, you and Ann want to come up to Seattle? I'll get you field passes and we'll get you up here and stuff like that. Just depending on let me know which home game you want to do and when you can go and all that kind of stuff." It was like so cool. I had like one of the coaches from the Seahawks emailing me just because I said Legion of Boom. So I should start saying that at the end of every episode, Ray, for every single team. Like what's the Bengals?
Oh, it's
Who
just
Day?
Who Day.
There we go. At the end of the show, I should go, who day? And then let's see if we can get one of the coaches to write it and offer us field
They're
passes.
like, you can come to Cincinnati, and we're like, wait, Cincinnati? Oh, maybe.
Gotta go to Cincinnati.
I'm just kidding.
All right, what's next?
Amin Mash says, I know you probably won't believe me, but when the first reports came out like 6 or 7 months ago that Marvel was moving away from Kang for Avengers 5, one of my early suggestions was that they should change the title of the film to Avengers Doomsday. I didn't really hear anyone suggest that. I even predicted they would announce it at Comic-Con. Crazy.
Well, I mean, a lot of people thought the next logical move was Doctor Doom. Like, right. That was the kind of the prevailing wisdom that if they were moving away from that, Doctor Doom. I'll be honest with you. I don't love the title Doomsday.
Yeah, reminds me of the Superman.
Exactly. That's exactly it. When I hear Avengers Doomsday, I think, oh, they're going to fight Doomsday?
Yeah.
Like they're bringing that over. So
Because Doomsday sounds so ominous. I mean, Doctor Doom is a great villain, but not one that's, that sounds like Doomsday. Like, the Superman.
well, he is God Emperor
Yeah,
Doom.
but
I
man,
mean,
like that Doomsday, it felt like it was just everything was going to go dark for Superman.
Sounds like somebody's
Right.
having
Well-
a case of the Doomsday.
again, I just too associate that term with the guy that killed Superman. And so, I mean, and I get it. I'm not saying that's a good reason not to like the title, but it is my reason, whether it's good or not. So I'm not really big on the title itself, but it'll work.
What about Doc's Day?
Yeah, no, there you
Yeah,
go.
Doctor Doom, Doc's Day.
Doc's Day.
Doc.
Avengers, the
Doc's
Doctor
Day.
will see you now.
Yeah.
Bend over and cough.
Oh boy.
The Doctor is in. All right,
Okay.
what's next?
Oh boy. Ian Barth says, you know how the Mandalorian and Grogu movie did some photography a few weeks back, even though they don't start fully shooting until later this month? My theory is that they just shot all of Pedro's scenes where he isn't wearing the helmet so that he can be filming Fantastic Four while Mandalorian shoots with his body doubles.
No, I don't think so. I think, and the reason I don't think so, I mean, your logic is sound, but I think if they're going to do a feature film, we're going to see more of Pedro Pascal. Because remember now, in his world at this point, there is a blurring of the line about the hardcore adherence to the what's the name of his cult again? It's not the Death Watch. It's but whatever. The name of his like Puritan radical cult. And you got the two sides now, right? You have the one group of Mandalorians which are all like, yeah, we can take our helmets off whenever we want, blah, blah, blah. And now the more hardcore cult side, they've now come to a peaceful coexistence kind of stuff. I think you're going to see a loosening of that. And I think they're going to use that as a reason you got one of the biggest stars in the world right now in your movie. You're going to show his face. So I don't think like they're only going to have one or two scenes of him with his helmet off. I don't think we're going to have the majority of the movie with his helmet off, but I do think we're going to get a decent amount of the film. We're going to see Pedro Pascal's face.
Grogu will die and he'll use his head as a helmet.
Oh, that's dark.
Sorry.
Wouldn't fit.
Welcome back, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't fit.
Welcome back. We needed
They
that.
stretch it. They stretch it. It's like leather.
All right, what's next?
Stephanie Mitchell says, hey guys, I hope everyone is feeling better. I saw Trap the other day. It was better than I thought. Also, just FYI, if you still interested in the Wolverine popcorn bucket, they are now available to buy on the AMC website. Have a great day.
Yeah, they are.
Meh.
It's different from buying it in theater when you're there to see the movie and you're pouring the popcorn in it. I kind of want to have it that way. And I haven't seen them pop back up in the theaters, so I don't know if they will or not. But I might still grab one if I see one in the theater, so I probably won't buy one online, though. A $30 to $40 popcorn bucket is, by definition, an impulse buy. The impulse is passed.
Right.
Now, if I'm in the theater again and it's right there, I might bite. But other than that, maybe not. But I got my Wolverine cup. That's all I need.
Yeah, those cups are really.
I love those cups. All right, what's next?
All right, Jab Occasion says, with video games being the next thing Hollywood is trying to franchise, which game of the year is more likely to get greenlit by a studio, excluding what's already in the pipeline, of course. Thanks, my dude.
You need to give me some options. Like
Yeah.
which ones? I mean, Baldur's Gate is something which I still think is the greatest video game of all time, is Baldur's Gate. But that's really an open world kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know how you make a movie out of that. You know what they could very easily make a movie out of, that one game of the year a couple years ago? It Takes Two. You could make a great 4-quadrant family adventure film that could make a lot of money out of it. It's a wonderful story. The heroes, the mom and the dad's path through the story is incredibly engaging. It's fun, it's exciting, it's funny. So yeah, I mean, really from a success point of view, and It Takes Two would be really, really good. Yeah, some people are saying stuff like Diablo. I don't know that Diablo would be all that successful
Well, Hades
as a movie.
Hades was
Hades was really funny though. I mean, I love playing Hades almost as much just because I waited to hear the dialogue as anything else. But Hades wouldn't be a bad one either. But that didn't win Game of the Year.
no, yeah, but you know, contenders, people
Oh.
were nominated.
Oh, well, we're sitting on it. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing the movie. Mark it down. Instant $1 billion film right there.
There you go. Starring Matt Damon.
Starring Matt Damon,
He already has a
Paul
film,
Walter Hauser.
Yeah. Okay, John.
All right, what's next?
Really?
Top Gun Manny says, has the MCU entered that pop culture zeitgeist the way, say, Star Wars has? A pop cultural phenomenon that our kids and kids will enjoy and still be talking about and still be talking about decades later.
It's impossible to say. And I say this as a huge MCU guy. It's impossible to say. Are we still going to be talking about... Well, it depends. You know, like Star Wars for the longest time was 3 movies. The MCU right now is over 30 films. There's a lot of them we're never going to talk about again. A couple of them we still do. What are we going to be talking about 15 years from now? See, we can say with certainty with Star Wars because we are 40 years later. We can't with Marvel because we're not. So let's bring up the question again and say 12 more years. Let's see where we're at in 12 years. All right. Let's take 2 more. What's next?
All right. Incognito Mode says, I'm working my way through Entourage right now and loving it. Where is it on your list of favorite HBO shows?
Now, I'll tell you where Entourage lost me. I gave up on Entourage, although the Entourage movie flopped. The Entourage movie flopped. It was so good, though. I really liked it.
It was a return to form.
Yeah, it was. That's perfect way to put it, Jonathan. It was a return to form. It was great. But
Wait, did he say he was working on Entourage right now?
No,
Working
we're
his
going
way
through
through
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully. No spoilers. For
where the show loses me is it gets into a season where he starts dating this real life porn star, and I'm trying to remember her name, Sasha Grey, who's a real life porn star. And by the way, she was really good in the show. So he starts dating the real life porn star Sasha Grey in the show. And I don't think it's her fault in it, but he gets hooked on cocaine. The main character of the show gets hooked on drugs.
Doom's great.
And it's like every single episode was then, and what's the character's name again?
The main character?
Yeah, the main guy.
Oh, God.
Isn't it Vince?
Vince.
Or
Is it Vince?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll say
Vinny.
Vince.
Well, they say Vinny, but yeah.
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 So, like, it's funny because I can name Turtle and Johnny
right?
Drama.
Johnny
and
Drama.
Like, but anyway. So every single episode was like, oh no, Vince is doing cocaine. He might not be able to handle it. And then he has a total breakdown. It's like, oh no, he's at his low point. And then the same thing the next
Yeah,
episode.
Vincent Chase.
And then the same thing the next episode. And then the same thing the next episode. And I just eventually tapped out because of it. But when Entourage is about entouraging, it's really fun. And here's the thing. It's got a special place in my heart because I started watching it when I moved into Hollywood. I moved into Hollywood. I was in my apartment on Sunset Boulevard and I watched Entourage for the first time, saw the strip club across the street from my apartment in the opening credits, and like, this is my kind of show. I'm living Entourage.
Yay.
But yeah, not so much. But
Yeah.
yes, I really did like the show for the most part.
For me, it was good. It was just one of those palate cleanser shows where it's like, oh, I'll go hang out with people and And it's just like it's a lifestyle porn. Like, oh, they get to sleep it to the pool at night, and
Was it a long? I'd never watched Entourage. Is it how many seasons?
it's like
Yeah.
6 or 7.
Oh, it's kind of long.
Yeah,
That's exactly what the show was. It's lifestyle porn.
yeah.
That and like Sons of Anarchy, which are radically different shows, but on some level they're both lifestyle porn kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was also very funny. It was very funny and fun and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, last question of the day. What's
right.
next?
All right, Sir Malmston says, before Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix made Joker 2 a musical, they considered Joker in space. Do you think there are limitations to the Joker character?
I've not heard that, and I have a hard time believing. I mean, I'm not saying you're lying. I just don't know where you read that, and you might be 100% right. Maybe I just never heard it, but I have a very hard time believing they were
Joker in
considering
space.
Joker in space.
Yeah.
Very, very hard time
Yeah.
imagining that, but I cannot wait to see the movie. And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel while you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora, Jonathan Voico,
See you guys tomorrow.
Paris Rose.
Bye.
Again, guys, don't forget, Friday night, we're going to do our coverage of the big Disney entertainment presentation, talking about the future of Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, all that kind of stuff. We can't wait for it. Make sure you guys come on back and join us again tomorrow. Until next time, guys, my name's John Campea, and until then, hoo day!